Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey.
Hello.
My ragtime girl. Oh, hang on.
I can hear you, but not see you.
Oh, story of my life. Am I right? Just kidding.
There you are.
Okay.
Okay, I start.
Yeah, you start. Nailing it today.
So good so far.
Yeah.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the Activity Continues podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Amy.
And I'm Megan.
Whoop, whoop. We discuss episodes of the Travel Channel's TV show, The Dead Files. This week, Megan is presenting, and she'll be recapping Season 1, Episode 9, The Lizzie Bordon House. It originally aired on April 20th, 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So that is 10 years ago.
Oh my God.
Blows my mind that this show has
birthday.
been around this long.
I know. Also Hitler's birthday, 20.
Is it really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I only know the other 420, or the other reason for it being 420.
The marijuana.
Yeah.
The devil's leaf.
Yeah. So, why did you choose this episode? Let us know when you're done with your Rebels.
Sorry, I just slugged that.
Oh, that's cool.
It is because Amy, our Patreon Amy, suggested it. So she's got good suggestions because I think she suggested the Villisca Axe murders too.
She did, yep.
We are, keep them coming, Amy, and anybody else who wants to suggest any episodes for us to do. We are your pawns to do with as you will. Or unless it's illegal, then
Yeah, no, we're not going to do anything illegal.
Content warnings, obviously axe murders, and then there is incest and potential sexual abuse of minors. So there's discussion of that. So if none of those are triggering for you, you might want to pass on this episode.
So this episode is going to be airing on Friday the 13th.
Spooky.
Do you have any Friday the 13th stories?
Not that I know of. I don't really put too much thought into it, I guess. And not thought. What's the too much credence?
Yeah. I don't really either. Although I remember in junior high, maybe it was high school. I think it was high school. Our school had a dance on a Friday the 13th, and they made a big deal out of it. It was also around Halloween time, and they made a big deal out of it being Friday the 13th, that, it's going to be unlucky. And it was a black and white dance. You had to wear all black and white.
Yeah.
I was so dreading it because I'm like, oh my God, they're just going to be awful. And the guy I had a crush on asked me to dance. So ever since then, I'm like, you know what? Friday the 13th is lucky for me.
Maybe, you know what? I think Friday the 13th just got a bad rap, you guys.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's never been unlucky for me. I'll say that. Now we'll knock on wood.
I wonder where that idea came from, that it's unlucky.
I don't know. I should have looked that up.
I should have known that I was going to ask this in advance and looked at it.
Well, I should have been thinking about the fact that I was going to bring it up. But anyway. Rude. What else? What else do we have to talk about?
The Circle's back. So
yes.
I don't know if anybody watches The Circle.
Oh my God.
Or The Circle, just one. But we do. And it is so good this season. And Sean is adorable, who's playing it, Mama Carol.
Yes. Episode 1, when they introduced him and stuff, I'm like, he's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to win the whole thing because he's cute. And he seems to know his mom real well, so he's going to be able to play her real well. I'm not going to say that
he's not egotistical about it,
right? He's not like,
was it Joey that we first started and we hated
him?
Well,
I know
Joey, but when he first came on, both Amy and I were like, this fucking guy, he's so egotistical.
Yeah,
but he's not. He's just a gem.
Yeah.
Listen, Joey, if you're listening, call us. We would love to chat with you. And I was glad he won. He should have.
Yeah, I really liked him.
Season 1.
3 years ago. Yeah, I've watched all of the episodes that have dropped so far.
Yep,
of
me
the
too.
circle. Yeah, okay.
Mhm. For the record, they didn't need to leave us on the cliffhanger they left us on. Like, we're
Oh my
hooked,
God.
you guys. Like,
Yeah.
we're coming back for more.
Yeah,
You don't need to leave us on a cliffhanger.
right. But they do.
Fucking
Every episode
Deborah.
does. But
I know, but it's just annoying.
I know. And, you know, it was funny as I was watching that. I was like,
Mhm.
I didn't realize I was watching the last episode that had dropped.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I wasn't counting, I guess. I don't know. And so I'm watching and I'm like, well, for the reveal, what they're going to do is they're going to start spinning the name, the person around. And then just before we can read it, they're going to cut.
Yep.
At the end of the end of the episode.
Dick.
And it was. And then I'm like, well, but I'll just watch the next one. And then it wasn't on.
If they guess who those people are, because I don't want to spill in case anybody hasn't watched it.
Right.
Like, do they keep playing in the circle or are they out? I think they're out because in the next episode it didn't, which is really sad because they are so cute.
They are.
I love it.
We're talking about the celebrities.
The celebrity
twist or whatever you want to call it. Which isn't really that much of a surprise because their damn pictures are right there on the front of the Netflix. When you go to Netflix
I didn't
pictures right there. But
Netflix.
Yeah.
Way to fuck that up.
I know. No, I do love them. And they're little pink Yorkie.
Oh my God. So, Cookie.
She just follows them around everywhere they go.
I think one of them, the one who doesn't have the dog, needs to get it because she's like obsessed with that dog.
Well, and the dog is always sitting next to her. It's really funny. And then the other one, the real owner, is always like, Cookie, get over here. You're so sitting with me.
Like, no,
I want to sit with my friend. She's so cute.
Yeah, she is. Let's see.
They're all cute. It's a fun show. Love it.
It's Mother's Day today. Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to everybody who is a mother, who's not a mother, who doesn't want to be a mother, struggling becoming a mother.
It's
everybody.
It's a heavy holiday for some people. It really is.
And I think it's really important to highlight that it's not a good holiday for everybody.
Right. Yeah, I have a friend whose mother passed away quite a long time ago now, but she's still, Mother's Day is really tough for her. Yeah. Really, really tough. So
you never really get over losing somebody. You just learn how to deal with it. And there are certain days that are going to be tougher. It doesn't matter if it's 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 20 years. They're always going to be gone. So.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
I just had my mother and my stepmom over. And we
party at 80. How are they both doing?
They're doing good.
Good.
They're doing good. We're struggling with getting my mother to understand that it is time to sell her house.
Yeah.
And she knows that. She wants to sell. She wants to move. However, she's under the impression that she's rich and she's mistaken. And so she thinks that she's going to be able to afford things that she can't.
Yeah.
And I have to be the voice of reason to say that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, come down to earth and take a look at what your options are, which, when you didn't save for the future, that's what happens. So kids out there who have not yet started a 401k or saved any money for your future, do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Because good Lord, it's tough.
Yeah.
When you retire and Social Security is all you get, it's not enough. It's not enough.
No. And even if you save $20 a paycheck, $50 a paycheck, it's still a good start.
It's gonna make a difference. I don't have enough right now to live if I were to retire. But
the thing is, when we came up with that, 65 or 62 or whatever age, people were only living until their 70s.
Yeah.
Now they're living until their 90s.
Yeah. Yeah.
How are you supposed to survive?
I know. It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, it is. It's
tough. Save your money, kids.
Save your money.
Save. I wanted to mention that we have 2 new promos that you'll hear this week.
What? 2 new promos? Sorry.
I think I had mentioned the Boo Pod network last time.
Yep, because that's where we found Shit and Bricks, right?
Oh, right. Yep. Well, I don't think that the Boo Pod network had started yet. We had just connected with Shit and Bricks, but Dom from Shit and Bricks is the one that created this Boo Pod network.
That's right. I knew there was a connection.
Yeah. So he has been like reaching out to other people and other podcasts and asking them if they want to join. And basically what we do is we just share each other's promos and we, gas each other up on social media. Mostly Instagram is where, a lot of this is taking place. And so we're just helping to promote each other and listening to each other's shows and, supporting each other, basically.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing. And this week, the promos that we're going to pop in are for Haunted Roulette podcast. I listened to that one earlier today. It's good.
I keep wanting to listen to it because isn't that the one where they like pick a word and then they do a crime around that?
Yeah. So the one I listened to, it's a good idea.
Yeah, it is.
The one I listened to today was Poem. So they read a bunch of like children's poems and talked about how there's actually a really creepy story behind each one.
Yeah.
Like they're not as cute and sweet as they seem to be. They're always about like death and
it's really there's one that's like about a plague or something. They're not good.
Ring Around the Rosie, I think
that's what it is. Yeah.
So that was really interesting. And then they do a story too. And I didn't get all the way through the story. I only listened for a little bit today because I had to go make Dutch babies for my mom's.
What's a Dutch baby?
It's like a big popover.
Oh, okay.
So it's a lot of times it's made in one big pan and it comes it's like the size of a cast iron, a large 12-inch cast iron pan or whatever. And then you can either do a sweet one where you throw in like blueberries or strawberries and you put sugar on top, or I did savory ones. So ham and bacon and cheese and vegetables and stuff. So I made individual ones. So we each got our own little one in a little ramekin. And then, so I just put in the ingredients that everybody wanted. It was really cute. It was good.
That's adorable.
Isn't it?
Dog.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my excuse for not listening to the entire episode. And then my mom's just left like 20 minutes before we got on. So anyway, Haunted Roulette, super cool. And then the other one is called Spill the Crime. I listened to that one a couple days ago. They were talking about Lorena Bobbitt. So that was good.
Yeah.
That was funny. So you're gonna hear those promos this time. And then the last thing we have to make sure we cover is Megan is ready to release or whatever, talk about her Etsy shop.
Yes. So I've started putting shit up there and I have 23 listings right now and I have probably 30 more to add, but it takes forever to add.
Does it?
So it's just tedious because I have to pick the picture and then know which one I'm doing so I can talk about it. And then I have to add all the different tags so people can find it. Then we got to add the material and then we got to print it. It's just so much time. Like I did it for an hour the other night and I think I added 15 listings. So do the math on that. I don't know fucking numbers, but so yes, please check it out and share it with your friends.
What is your handle or whatever? We'll put the link in the show notes.
Yeah, it's Craft Jewelry by Megan.
Okay.
So yeah, share it because Mama needs to make that cheddar. I'm so in debt for this crafting.
It's got to pay off eventually, right?
I mean,
Says the person who bought a $400 interface to record podcasts on, and I still just use my USB mic and Zoom.
You have to have backups. Don't tell Greg.
Yeah, I know. I told him I think we bought a $400 paperweight. But I mean, the only reason we decided to do it is that I was recording an episode that had 3 of us. It was for my other podcast. That had 3 people in the same room. And you can't do that on Zoom unless you're all sitting in front of 3 different computers.
Yeah.
So we bought it for that. But I mean, I'm sure we'll use it eventually someday. It's just Zoom is easier. Like if you come over and record, we'll probably do it that way. But
yeah.
Anyway, your Etsy shop. So
yeah.
Craft Jewelry by Megan. And I'm going to
yes.
put the link in the show notes and stuff. So
yes.
Is it mostly earrings? Is it necklaces and stuff too?
It's mostly earrings.
Okay.
I do have one pendant and earring set right now. And there are some pendants too that I made. So if you want to, you have your own chain or whatever, you can add those and, do whatever you want with it. But yes, for the most part, it's just earrings.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Excited.
So buy my shit, everybody. That should be my tagline.
Buy my
jewelry by Megan. Buy my shit. When I go to a craft fair, that's what I'm going to say. Hi, I'm Megan. Buy my shit.
Can you buy my shit? Please?
Buy it. I got a baby at home. I got to feed. Just kidding. Okay.
Oh boy. All right.
We just dive right in.
Are we ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I don't have to do anything but listen this time.
I know. I love those weeks. So this one was Lizzie Borden. And if you don't know Lizzie Borden, she allegedly killed her father and stepmother. She went to trial for it and was acquitted. And so most people are under the impression that she didn't. I think that's the general consensus. However, for legal reasons, which I don't know why I'm saying that, because it's not like Lizzie's alive. This was back in 1892, so it's not like it was last week. So basically they go to the inn. It's the Lizzie Borden Bed and Breakfast. It's run by Leanne. And basically they're having all of these experiences. Most of them are feeling sick and not being able to breathe and seeing shadow people. They don't really get touched or, there's not a lot of temperature changes. It's really mostly not being able to breathe and really seeing shadow people is kind of the main one. So Miss Leanne said the scariest thing that she was in the guest bedroom, which is where Mrs. Borden's body was discovered. And she said she couldn't breathe. And then all of a sudden she was just sobbing, like overwhelming sadness. She literally said she fell down and was sobbing, couldn't really move. Eventually she crawled out of the room, called one of her coworkers to come and help her, slept in her car. And she didn't go back in until the next day because she was just so overwhelmed. So then this is super interesting. We go down to the cellar and Leanne is telling us how they had an investigative group come in and do their own investigation. She said they left abruptly at 2:30 through a door in the cellar. And she said she passed by the door they left through the next day and she found flies all around the door. She took a video of it. Yeah, she said there was hundreds of flies. Nothing dead. There was no reason for the flies. There's no reason for the flies. They weren't anywhere else. And she said they never came back. It was just that one spot.
This is shades of Amityville Horror.
I know. That's what I thought. I was like, ooh, that sounds a little devilly. Mm-hmm. Little 666. So then we go into the sitting room and this is where Mr. Borden was found. And so I'm sure if you're familiar with the case, you're familiar with the picture of Mr. Borden laying on the sofa, kind of half on, half off the couch. His face is bashed in. Like you can't recognize his face. And we touched on that a little bit later, which I was like, really? I can't believe that they released that photo. Like that's a gruesome photo.
Yeah.
Not only on the show, but in life.
Oh, I've seen them. I've seen those photos on the internet and it's disgusting. It's amazing bad to me that they show those. Yeah.
Mrs. Borden isn't as bad, but it's still not great. They were killed with an axe. Like it's not a clean death.
Do we know if they were actually if it was the blunt end or if it was, were they sliced open or were they blunted?
I think it was, that's a good, it was probably the blunt end. The way they talk about how Mr. Borden's face is just bashed in.
Okay.
And I feel like if it was the sharp end, they would have used a different word than bash, like hacked or sliced.
Yeah.
That's just my 2 cents worth. I don't know. I'm not an investigator. So Steve asks Leanne, how can we help? And Leanne wants them basically to bring some understanding to the events that's happening. What's going on? And I'm like, fucking, you're in Lizzie Borden's house. That's boom. I just solved it for you. Call me. Like, that's what's happening. You're in this. And we learned that there's some dark shit that went on in this house. I did not know about it until this episode. So in addition to Leanne, he also interviews 2 guests, Robin and her niece Miranda, who stayed in this bed and breakfast. And they saw shadows. One went into the master bedroom. One of the shadows went into the master bedroom. Shape of a tall person, really tall, kind of lanky. Miranda, the niece, was like, I feel shocked, which made me think of Dodgeball when they're like, I feel shocked, Colin. You know, Jason Bateman's character. Anytime I can quote Dodgeball, it's a good day. And they both said they wouldn't stay there by themselves. It was just very unnerving. So then we go into the master bedroom, and Ben, the night manager, Ben, said he had an experience in the master bedroom. He said he was sitting up reading a magazine. It was about 2 a.m. He saw a shadow move across the door frame kind of several times, like back and forth and back and forth. He said it was a tall black mass, and he felt like it was somebody watching him, kind of checking what's going on in the house, and he thinks it was Mr. Borden. And he got kind of scared, which, yeah, it's 2 a.m. and I'm seeing a shadow. Not happy. So now we move to the historical research of it. And this is funny because it's the first season, so they don't say the first and last names. They just say the job and their name. So we have local historian Shelley, and she talked about Mr. Borden. He was a very thin, angular man, very routine. He had a routine he followed basically every day. Go to the post office, and then he went to the bank where he worked. She said he was very, very ruthless. And every person they talk to, including Shelley, thinks that Lizzie didn't. And she thinks she did it for the inheritance, which was a common thought back then. That the reason she killed her parents was for the inheritance, and it was all money driven. And her sister, who's older than her, got the inheritance and shared it with her, which she didn't have to do. Right. So they, Amy talks on it a little bit later. So then we go to the Historical Society curator, Michael, and Michael talked about how murder was common in this, I think it was Fall River is where it took place. And he said it wasn't, murder wasn't uncommon, but it was uncommon due to the circumstances, because it was prominent people murdered and they're in their home and their daughter was a suspect. And that was not, a normal situation. Right. And Steve was like, well, had anything happened before that? And Michael said, actually, yeah, there was a burglary at their house, and Andrew actually had 3 locks on the doors, which you can never be too careful. Lock your doors. So yeah, like there had definitely been, the common consensus was that Andrew had some enemies and he wasn't a super great person. So I think that partly contributed to why Lizzie got away with it, because technically there's reasonable doubt there.
Could have been someone else. Yeah,
it could have been someone else. So this is where I learned something new. Steve had talked about there was a paper in 1997 that was written speculating that the Borden's murder was sexually motivated. He talked about how like Andrew Borden's face had been bashed in, his eyes had been bashed in. And so it was, and I had never even thought of that. I was just like, oh, she fucking killed her parents, So he talked to criminal psychologist Patricia, and she dealt a lot with sexual crimes and sexual abuse trauma. And so Steve showed her these pictures, and, she was flipping through them, and then you see the infamous couch one, and then you see a picture of his skull. And you see like around the eyes, there's a lot of trauma. There's like a lot of, skull missing, I guess, that word. And so she said that, and Steve agreed that there was a lot of rage in the crime scene photos. Like you could see it was a rage killing. Yeah. This wasn't somebody who came in off the street. Like it wasn't a burglary gone wrong. It wasn't somebody who broke in. People were there. And then, oh shit, I have to kill these people. It wasn't that. It was very rage. Don't think it's a stranger. And then Patricia talked about sexual abuse trauma. She said anybody, and this is just her, I don't know anything about it, I'm going off what she said, that anybody who experiences sexual abuse trauma, it wouldn't be an immediate reaction. It's not like you would have that trauma and then instantly you'd go and kill the person who, caused that trauma. She said it sits and it boils and it festers until one day, poof, you snap. And, so that's why she thinks too, Patricia thinks that she did it. So everybody really thinks she did it. Then we talk about legal historian Frank. So they talk about the suspects in the murder, and essentially the really only the one that they talk about is Lizzie. Everybody says that Mr. Borden was ruthless. He was very, he was a businessman through and through, and to get the money, blah, blah, blah. Steve asked if the theory of sexual abuse was presented in the trial, and he said it wasn't. It wasn't presented.
Really?
Frank said a lot of the evidence was excluded, which might be why she was acquitted. Another reason she might have been acquitted was one of the judges was appointed by Lizzie's lead defense counsel.
What?
Yes.
Well, I don't think that would fly today. It's a little conflict of interest there.
That's what Steve said. Which, yeah, it is.
Yep.
So, Steve then asked Frank if he thinks Lizzie did it, and he said, "Is there proof behind reasonable doubt? I think there is." He then also said, "If the murder took place today, I think she would have been convicted," which I agree. She would have been convicted. There were too many things beyond a reasonable doubt to indicate that she did this crime. I don't think that she could have gotten away from it. So now we're going to Amy. And again, we're still in season 1. So a lot of, it's pretty new. So she talks about the meditative state that she goes into before she goes on a walk to create a clear connection with the dead. So this walk, she was very disturbed on the entire time. She really had a tough time with it. She wrung her hands a lot. She, hesitated. Ooh, like you could hear her sucking in her breath. Like it was really rough. So the first ghost that she encounters, she said, tries to make people go crazy. She can make people see things like hallucinations, and she's mentally ill, this ghost. And she said it's a woman. So Amy's also being touched, and she's like, I don't like this. Throughout the whole show and throughout the whole walk, she continually says, I don't like it here. I feel weird. I don't like this place. I feel sick. So this is a very, very high energy place. And a lot of the spirits are, able to make people feel things and influence them.
Yeah.
So she said the ghost is seeping out of the ceiling, and she points to like a vent, and she says she can like feel it seeping or see it seeping out of the ceiling. She said it makes her sick. And she said the ghost's energy is, quote, crazy, very hyper, very intense. So lots of emotions feeling. So then we go into Mrs. Borden's room, and Amy is scared of the ghost in this room, which is that same ghost that she encountered when she first got there, the one that is, trying to make people go crazy. And she said the ghost is growling.
Oh.
Never a good sign.
No.
Hello, and welcome to Horror Roulette, where you never know what you're going to get. We're your hosts. I'm Em, and that's my brother Nick.
Each week, we spin the wheel of misfortune to randomly generate an episode topic, which makes our lives miserable, but this podcast listenable.
We've covered everything from the Toy Box Killer to Jack and Jill.
From Ed Wood to Black Widows, we've suffered through it all.
Find us wherever you listen to podcasts, and check us out at horrorroulette.com.
Listen if you dare.
Yeah. Okay. So now we go into the sitting room where Mr. Borden was found on the couch. And so suddenly Amy starts saying, we need to move the couch. I need to move the couch. And then she finds a Ouija board under there. And she said, that's really not good. The board has a strong vibe. Then we go into the master bedroom. Amy said there's a lot of fighting going on in this room. And she said this man is just beating the crap out of this woman. A lot of fighting. And again, she's super stressed here. And she thinks it's Mr. Borden who's doing it. She said she sees banking and numbers. And she said you can see like her face when he hits it, just like, I mean, it's just a full on face hit. She said,
does she think that this is Mr. Borden hitting Lizzie?
No, hitting Mrs. Borden.
Mrs. Borden. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I missed that. Sorry.
No,
okay.
Sorry. I don't think I said it. So thanks for clarifying.
No.
She said there's a lot of violence that went on in this house, a lot of beatings. She talks about rape, people being tied up. And then we talk about incest. So between the sisters, there was incest going on. They did have a sexual relationship. She talks about very hurtful and painful sex, and also dirty sex, her words, that happened between the sisters. So to which I say, ew. Gross.
I don't need to know the details. Thank you.
She said it was very disturbing, which, yes.
Sounds like that whole family was kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it really does. And, to be fair, in their defense, if they were sexually abused, that's really, and Amy touches on it, maybe that's the only way that they knew how to express affection and how to show love. Like, it's fucked up. It's not a good, that house should, in my opinion, just be razed and torn to the ground.
Probably, yeah.
Because it's probably not great.
Yeah.
So they do the sketch and Amy's like, yes, that's what I saw. So then we go to the reveal where it's Leanne and Ben. Again, Leanne owns the bed and breakfast. Ben is the night manager. So then Amy talks about the Ouija board and she talks about her guides yelling at her to move the couch. And she said the guides were telling her, move it, move it, move it. And she also talks about her guides being with her and, showing her and telling her things that other people can't. And so I thought that was a really interesting.
That is cool.
Yeah. And she said the dead are tired of being tired. What?
Tired? They're plumb tuckered.
They're plumb tired of being contacted. They are tired of being contacted by that Ouija board. She said the dead have issues with it. And Ben even talks about, he'll do event hosting or he'll do tours with the guests and he has to hide the Ouija board from the guests, which just, just don't do that. Like,
well, why do you even have it?
Exactly.
Why is it even there for people to use?
I mean, my guess, it's probably there as like a prop or decor to, feed into the thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just you're just asking for trouble.
Yeah.
With that.
Not good. Not good at all.
No. That's what Amy said. It's not good. So then Amy talks about the nasty man. She said he's very stressed out about, home, was stressed out about work. She said, which involves numbers and banking. So that's why they think it's, she thinks it's Mr. Borden because banking and he was a banker.
He's a banker, yeah.
Yep. She said he was a very miserable man and he took it out on everybody he was around. So then Ben talked about his story, the shadow man that he saw going back and forth. He thinks it was Mr. Borden. Amy doesn't. She doesn't say that because she said, Ben and Leanne aren't ready to hear that yet. But she did say she doesn't think it was Mr. Borden. She thinks it was either someone or something else. But she doesn't touch upon what that is, again, because, she just feels like they can't handle it, which like I couldn't handle it. So I'd want her to do that.
I'm so curious. I want to know what she thought. Why can't she tell us?
I don't know. Then she talks about going in the kitchen. And she heard women talking in the kitchen and she saw one of them. She said she has really frazzled hair. She feels very, this woman feels very stressed, panicked, and frazzled. She did have a sketch done of this woman and it's like old Lizzie Borden because Steve talked about how he got a very rare photo of Lizzie Borden when she was older. And it was taken from a distance back. She was on a bench, so you can't really see her features too closely, but you can see the shape of her face, and it does look like Lizzie Borden older. And so basically what she thinks happened is that this woman that she saw kind of crawling and on the wall, scratching the walls and seeping out is a part of Lizzie. She said she thinks it's the part of Lizzie that committed the murders and is really just stuck in the emotional and mental state of being abused. She said kind of like her personality split. And the part of her that committed the murders just stayed behind. And this piece can manipulate emotions as well. So Steve talked about a scenario and what he thinks happened. He said he thinks Mr. Borden abuses the sisters. The wife does nothing to stop it, whether she didn't know, whether she felt powerless, whatever her reasoning, she did nothing to stop it. Keep in mind, this was 1890s. Like, it's not like she had a lot of power as a woman to stop it. And if he really was as mean as they say, you know, it could just be survival. You know, she better, you know, them than me, which I can't.
They're not her children either.
They're not her children. Yeah. Right. They're her stepmom.
Yeah.
Or she's their stepmom. I don't know. I think their mom died and they grew up with her, but, I mean, they're not her kids. So Steve thinks that the sisters planned the murder, carried out the murder, split the money, and moved on with their lives. Which if they were really being abused, I mean, I could see it.
Yeah.
You know,
wouldn't be the first time.
No.
I mean,
I guess last.
Yeah, I was gonna say it wasn't the last.
So really they don't give any advice. It was really interesting.
Like go get a Reiki master or anything like that?
No, nothing.
Just
basically
put away that Ouija board.
Get away with, And Amy said, you know, if anybody else has any issues or they want help, she said, have them reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help people, you know, if they have experiences, whatever.
That's nice.
So I mean, that's the Lizzie Bordon House. Like I said, I did not know that they suspect the sexual abuse was going on.
Mm-hmm.
If it was, that makes me very sad for both those girls. They were damaged.
Yep.
And, you know, in that society, there wasn't a lot of advocates for them.
Right. Yeah. I had seen this one, you know, years ago when I started watching the show, and I did not know that story either. I really didn't know much about. I knew the sing-song,
the basic,
Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. You know that.
Yeah. FYI, it was only 10 that Mr. Borden was hit with. He was only hit 10 times.
Not 40 and 41.
That song is inaccurate.
An inaccurate nursery rhyme. What the fuck?
But
about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, I saw a movie called Lizzie.
Was that with Christina Ricci?
No.
Kristen Stewart.
Yes. Kristen Stewart and Chloe Sevigny. If I'm saying her name right, I don't know that I am.
I mean, it sounds good to me. So.
Yeah. It's French.
And
I watched it and they talked about that too. But the abuse that the father was abusive, sexually abusive to Lizzie and I believe to her sister as well. But Kristen Stewart played a maid that came into work for the family, and Lizzie and the maid had a relationship.
Oh, is this the maid that was working when the bodies were discovered and kind of, you know, sort of threw Lizzie under the bus and was like, well, she went out and burned her clothes?
I don't remember that, but I did read the synopsis again today because I didn't remember. It was a while ago that I saw it. And I was probably playing a game on my phone at the same time and was barely paying attention. But so I don't want to give away too much, but basically it did, you know, it also agreed that Lizzie did do at least some of the murders.
I'm sorry, but there's no doubt in my mind that she did it. And I don't think there's any doubt in anybody's mind that she did it because the evidence points it out.
Yeah.
And each piece of evidence on its own, you could be like, well, that could, you know, but everything together, she did it.
Yeah.
And if the sexual abuse was true, I don't blame her.
Right. And
how do you get free of that in 1897?
Well,
it's hard enough to get free of it today in some instances.
Here's the thing, though, that I think is odd about this story is Lizzie Borden was 32 when this happened. Her sister Emma was older.
Spinsters.
Why are they living at home? Why can't you move away if your dad is abusing you
Well,
and you're in your 30s?
How are they supposed to do that? They don't have any money. They can't get a job.
I suppose.
The only way to do that is to get married. And for whatever reason, they weren't married.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get it. But at the same time, like, what funds would they do that with?
Yeah, I suppose.
Women are, it was so tough.
Yeah.
It was.
Well,
right.
As we're now turning the clock back on all these advancements that we've made so far.
Everything.
It's so frustrating.
No, it's fine. I don't want to talk about it.
No, we don't want to talk about that.
So yeah, I mean,
Anyway.
it's a super interesting case.
Yeah.
Thanks, Amy, for suggesting it. I felt bad
Thanks,
for
Amy.
Amy on this walk because she was distressed. And I know
Yeah.
she gets distressed through a lot of them, but this one, and they might have enhanced it because it was season 1. But she was up, and to have to see what I'm assuming she saw, things that led her to believe there was incest. That's tough.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and also the fact that it was an early one, she wasn't as experienced.
Mhm.
So I imagine that she's grown a little bit
Mhm.
thicker skinned now, and things don't upset her the way that they did 10 years
I mean,
ago.
it was 10 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Good.
So
Cool. Well, thanks for doing that. It was great.
yes, it was very fun. In other totally unrelated news, I'm
Yeah.
officially an adult because 1, I wore makeup 4 out of the 5 days last week, full face.
Good for you.
2, I had to buy a makeup organizer to yesterday on Amazon because I have so much makeup. And I was like,
Wow.
who are you? For the record, I do have most of my makeup from Ipsy, so it's not like I'm going out and buying all this shit.
Fancy. Yeah. When we moved into this house that we're in now, the bedroom and bathroom both have a makeup table, vanity table. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I could pretend like I'm an actual woman and like sit here and put makeup on. Cause I was like mascara and tinted lip gloss. That's it. I'm back to that. Although I don't always wear the mascara, but so yeah, I did the same thing. I went out and I got a little organizer and I bought all my makeup on, what's the other one? Elf.
Oh yeah. I've heard good things about them.
Oh yeah. I love their stuff. And so I bought a whole bunch of stuff.
The only reason I wear makeup is there was a study done by Harvard in 2011. And I haven't been able to find a more recent one that says women are 20% more likely to receive promotions at work if you wear makeup.
Oh, I'm sure.
But only a little bit. You can't wear a full face like nightclub makeup because then you're considered to be like trashy.
Yeah.
So just, calm makeup.
Yeah. I know. It's gross.
That's what I think of that.
It's gross, but it is kind of fun to play with makeup.
It is.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Even if I don't wear it very often.
Or I probably like 9 times out of 10, I feel like I look like a clown. They're like, oh my God, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm trying to put makeup on. They're like, oh, that's cute. Did your daughter put makeup on you? No.
No, I did it all by myself. I did that.
I did this to myself. And then I looked at it and thought, this looks good. And then I left my house. My mommy says I'm special.
Oh my God.
Oh, good times.
Yeah.
All right.
Is there anything else we need to cover? Are we good?
I don't think so.
Guess it's my turn next too, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was thinking about doing the Alcatraz one.
Oh yeah, you were.
That was another special. And that was in season 1 also. That was season 1, episode 8. So it was the one ran right before yours. But I'm starting to think maybe I want to do something more current.
Yeah.
Or a newer one, because we've been doing some of the older ones lately.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I
put that on the back burner.
Yeah. I'll maybe do that in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
That sounds good.
There's still another one that I really want to cover because it was so good, but it's another really sad one. And I just did a really sad one last time. So
well, it's not like any of them are like super happy.
I know. I kept looking for a funny one or something, but I haven't yet.
They're not really a funny show.
It's not really a funny show.
No. I mean, and when they are funny, it's purely by accident.
Yeah. There was one, and I thought I had written down, this is way before the podcast, that I had watched. And Steve was talking to a historian, and she's talking about this man and who that's probably in the house or whatever. And he's a real dick. And she is explaining about how he is and what he did and all this. And Steve said something like, oh, he doesn't sound like a very great guy. And she goes, he's kind of a weenie. I thought that was so funny. And now I can't remember what episode it was. And I want to do it.
See, they're like accidentally funny.
Yeah. He's kind of a weenie.
I mean, most men are. Dear Diary. Big day.
Big day. Greg laughed at my joke.
Oh, that's right, he did.
He laughed at Megan's joke the other day. What was it you said? That was so funny.
I will be chasing that high forever. Yeah. I don't know. Let me find it. I know what it was. It was. We were talking about the circle, so I think it was something to do with the circle.
You made some comment about somebody in the circle, and I was reading. I read it to Greg after you sent it to me, and he laughed.
I've got to find it now. Oh, I said when Parker was talking about memoirs.
Oh,
I said, she goes, oh my God, what's a memoir? And I said, nothing you'll need to ever worry about, honey.
I got caught up on The Circle and The Staircase on HBO.
Mm-hmm. I saw that.
Which is so good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Colin Firth is channeling Michael Peterson. He is so good.
Everybody in my groups have, like, on my Facebook groups were like, oh my God, I can't believe I ever doubted Colin Firth as Michael Peterson.
I know.
They were like, as soon as I heard him speak.
He's so good. He's got it, everything down. Because I have seen The Staircase, the documentary, 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
So that is 36 hours of Michael Peterson that I have seen in my lifetime. And I know those mannerisms. I even know some of those shots, like shot for shot, that they're, duplicating some of that stuff. And God, he's good. He needs to win an award for this because he's a
phenomenal actor anyway.
Good. Oh, he's so good. Yeah.
I think we're done. We should probably be done.
Hey guys, and welcome to Spilling the Crime, a true crime podcast hosted by
me, Umberto Melo,
and me, Jonas Grancha. Join us in this big adventure where we will be talking about crimes with a tipsy twist.
How this crime happened, I want to know. What the fuck is the unwrapped chocolate?
Her name is Sharma Melgalins. Magmar meningitis? What?
Where's the dick, Lorena? Where is the dick?
Oh! What is this? Are those your enemies? Are they after me too? Do you ever feel like a plastic bag?
What the fuck?
And then he masturbated on the carpet.
Dangerous questions.
Why?
We did not agree with this. Carl said that.
Don't copyright. What? Don't copyright us.
Don't copyright us. Yes, please don't block us. So grab your glass, cause the spilling is about to begin.
The Activity Continues podcast is produced by me, Amy, at Collected Sounds Media, and is a part of the independent Collected Sounds podcast network.
Nailed it.